So the do's and don'ts from my experience as an engineering communicator, the first do is keep it simple. And that's not to say that your audience isn't smart or doesn't know, because everybody in here is totally capable of understanding what I do. It's just you don't have a lot of time. Time is valuable to everybody, and we need to get to the point, tell you what it is we need to know, what kind of information, and move on to the next thing. I could sit here and lecture you for 3 hours on the intricate details of, temperature variations across a mold. You don't care about that. What you want to know about is what's it going to cost, when's it going to be done, what's the project schedule, draw a timeline. So keep it simple. Along with keeping it simple is you want to know your audience. Who are you presenting to? Is it the production workers? Again, they are focused and concentrating on what do I need to know to get my job done so I can go home at the end of the day and build a good quality product. If I'm presenting to executives of a company, they want to understand what value is the molding area adding to Medtronic. So again, know your audience, and then you need to communicate appropriately depending upon who the audience is. The third one I've got under the do is a good engineer one. Be careful with numbers. Now, if you're business majors, you understand economics, balance sheets, all that kind of finance stuff, and engineers understand a lot of numbers and math too. In a lot of the presentations, we'll put up graphs and charts and things. We can sit and talk about the standard deviation of this measurement that we've taken 1,000 times on this part. You don't care about that. That just adds to the confusion of the amount of information. It needs to be concise information. Be very careful with numbers. The last one I've got there, actually second to the last, is try to keep it interactive. So I'm trying to keep everybody here awake with a little interactive worksheet handout kind of thing. This class I was at, and I was thinking what venues I could use this in, and you know what? It would actually be interesting in a formal, full-blown suit and tie kind of venue to hand out something like this. I've seen people fall asleep there too, or not paying attention. And at this class I was at, they told me there's something about adult learners that if you have this piece of paper in front of you and it's got a blank on it, you have to fill it in. You just look at that, it'll just be killing you if you don't fill it in. So that's what I'm trying to do here a little bit. We want to try to keep it interactive. We could all get up and sing and dance or something too, but we won't do that today. So what I want from the audience is give me what would be a do example that you could think of from what I've told you so far. Anybody have one? No, we already did keep it simple. One of your own. One I haven't said here. Something I'm doing wrong. Go ahead.
Well, it sounds like you guys work with a lot of tangible objects or items, or are involved in creating those things. So perhaps you want to show that off and demonstrate on an actual object.
Excellent. Very good. Props.
Yeah.
Demonstrations. Excellent. Very good example. Okay, we'll talk about don'ts. My first one, this is my favorite. Death by PowerPoint. Dr. Dave said, do you need a projector? Do you need PowerPoint? I said, no. Engineers love PowerPoint. Actually, professional educators, a lot of them love PowerPoint.
Business profs love PowerPoint.
Yes, professors love PowerPoint. My best PowerPoint story, and it was called Death by PowerPoint, is we had a training session at Medtronic. This consultant came in for some required FDA training. The medical device world, we're all controlled by the FDA, all of our paperwork, regulatory kind of stuff. So there was this required training. They hired a consultant to come in. This consultant proceeded over 2 hours to give us 179 slides. Each one was full of text, graphs, charts. It was impossible. People, and even worse yet, they handed out the packet of all 175 slides. So you know on PowerPoint you can get the handout of like maybe 6 or however many per page. Well, it was still a stack of stuff. Death by PowerPoint. Hope you can remember that. That's when I write that one down. The other don't is excessive detail. Don't present excessive detail. That's the counter to keeping it simple. Again, you have to look at your audience and say what's important to them, what do they need to get out of your presentation, because their time is valuable. You got 15 minutes, you got 10 minutes, make it count, get them the information they need. Don't go into all kinds of detail about things. The next one is size of font and pictures if you use PowerPoint. That was the only thing I was thinking about maybe having the projector and the PowerPoint for today. Is we could give you some really good examples, but you know what, I don't need to do that because I'll bet you see them all the time. At our last quarterly meeting, they had all of the managers, there's all these goals and objectives, and there's this form, and it's like an Excel spreadsheet, and it's got about 8-point font, and they project it up into a room about 15 times the size of this room. You couldn't see any of it. You know, use 24-point font, whatever, and don't read the PowerPoint presentation. So, trust me, as an engineer, I love PowerPoint. I used to be totally addicted to it, but I'm trying to break that addiction a little bit. How about an example of a don't? Those are easy, right?
Don't read from your copy. Don't read word for word.
Yep. Don't read. People's time's important. If I have a class with Dr. Dave and all he does is sits up here and reads out of the book or reads his PowerPoint presentation, I could have bought the book off Amazon. He could have emailed me the PowerPoint presentation. I could do the whole thing in my house. I mean, the whole purpose of going to college, getting education, is to take people that have experience. I want his opinion. I want to hear what you have to think about things, not just what's in the book. So that's a very good example. Don't read presentation. So, what did we talk about? Talked a little bit about why communication is important for engineers. Some of the stereotypes about engineers. And as you see, most of them are true. I'm trying to break them a little bit, but a lot of them are true. The bottom line of communication for engineers, it could mean your job eventually. So then we talked a little bit about the venues of speaking, the formal, semi-formal, or sorry, the informal, the semi-formal, and the formal methods or venues of speaking. And then we finished up a little bit with the list of do's and don'ts. And I'm sure this is just a partial list. You could probably add many more things. So that's a little bit of my take on business communication from an engineer's perspective. I don't know a lot about business communication, but this is the way I think it's important for engineers. And I'm sure you're all going to go on to working with a lot of engineers and companies, and hopefully this will help you out a little bit with some of that. Are there any questions? Anything we talked about? Did I keep it simple?
Yes.
Okay,
Lauren,
great.
thank you so very
Great.
much.
Thank you.